Hello, hello. I hope you're having a great day. I am so fortunate. I'm so lucky. I have the opportunity to talk to so many parents. And during discussions, it often comes up that the parent, mom, dad, is frustrated, annoyed that their child isn't listening to them. Have you ever been there? I'm a parent, I've been there. And so I wanted to talk today about 3 mistakes that parents make that may be getting in the way of their child doing what they're asking of them to do, following the direction, listening to them. So if that sounds good to you, tune in. I've got some things that I wanted to share. Just in case you don't know me or you don't know me well, my name is Jessica Silverman. I am the owner of Parenting with Clarity, and I help parents of toddlers through tweens uncover their parenting brilliance so they can experience more joy as a parent, feel more confident, and help their child reach their highest potential. So before we go into those 3 mistakes that parents often make, I think it's important to go back to the beginning and talk about that when our children are first born, they don't understand language. They don't understand the language that you are talking to them. What they do understand is your body language, your facial expressions, your tone of voice, and that is how they're connecting with you. And as time goes on and they're getting older and you're interacting with them more and more, they're starting to learn the language that you're speaking. And they become more and more familiar with what words mean and concepts mean. And so now it's easier for the child, your child, to understand what you're asking of them, to be able to answer questions, to be able to follow directions, and to follow the conversation. So now, making the assumption that your child understands what you're asking, now we're running into the challenge that your child just doesn't do it, right? Your child just doesn't do what you're asking your child to do. And that can be really annoying. It can be really frustrating. And I think it's one thing that gets parents, gets under their skin, right? And so let's go into the 3 mistakes that I often see and that I've been guilty of. And I'm just being totally transparent. One thing is the way we give directions. It is when we communicate, we are communicating with more than just the words we say. We communicate with our body language, with our facial expressions, with the tone in our voice, and we communicate with how loud or how quiet we're saying it. And when our children feel like we're talking at them, when we talk like we have power, that we're annoyed, they sense that, they know that. And naturally, they're gonna tune us out. They're gonna tune you out. Because I just think about times where you've had an interaction with another adult. Maybe it's your partner or a boss or a colleague. Maybe it's someone at the store. And think about interactions where the person is talking to you with this annoyed tone of voice or is getting really loud with you. Are you more or less likely to want to interact with that person? I'm gonna guess that you're less likely, right? It doesn't feel good. You don't want to do it. You want to tune that person out. You probably want to say other things to that person, right? So why should our children be any different? Why should our children be any different? When we're coming at them, when we're talking loudly or with an annoyed tone, course they're going to tune you out. Of course they're not going to want to do it. So that's the first mistake. The second one is making an assumption that what we are doing, what we are asking them to do, is more important than what they are doing in that moment. And maybe in the grand scheme of life, it is more important. But for them, what they are doing, whether it be Fortnite or doing a puzzle, reading a book, talking to their friends, for them, that is more important than hanging up their coat or coming to the dinner table, right? And so that's mistake number 2. So the first one is the way we give our directions, because the way we're communicating with our children matters. Number 2 is making an assumption that what we are asking our children to do is more important than what they are doing. And number 3 is saying the same thing over and over and over again, otherwise known as nagging. Think about those times when your kiddo is saying, "Mommy, mommy, 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 mommy." Oh God, right? What do you do in those moments? What do? You tend to tune your kiddo out, right? We tend to tune them out because we're hearing the same thing over and over and over again. And it's the same thing for our kids. If we're saying the same thing over and over and over, our children are going to tune us out, most likely. So those are the 3 things. Those are the 3 mistakes that I often see parents do. These are mistakes that I make pretty frequently, although I try not to. So again, it's the communication, it's making an assumption that what we are saying is more important than what they are doing. And the third thing is that repeating, that nagging that we do. So what do we do instead? I'm going to focus on 2 things for today. There are many more things that are going to increase the likelihood that our child is going to follow a direction that we give, but here are some 2 things that I want you to consider. The first thing is connection. Connecting with our kids. Finding a special time to have that one-on-one time with our kids. And if you have more than one, then finding time, even if it's 5 minutes, to spend with each of your children. A time where you're not giving directions. It's really just a way of building relationship, of sharing something fun with your child. Doing something your child really loves to do. Showing interest in something that interests your child. And maybe you don't even have 5 minutes. Maybe your day is just so busy. So use everyday routines to connect. It could be preparing a meal together or having a special routine in the morning. Maybe you're turning on music and dancing together. Sometimes we do that in the morning at my house. And maybe it's at bedtime where you're reading a special story. I used to sing songs to my kids every night and read books. And now our bedtime routine looks a little different. We have conversations, we talk about the day. So whatever that looks like for your family, finding those special ways to connect. And connection is also when you notice that your child is doing something and yet you have something that you want him or her to do, first show interest in what your child is doing. And that is connecting. Show interest in Fortnite, even if you find it painful. Show interest in the picture that your child is drawing, or the book that your child is reading, or the tower that your child is building. Show interest in that, and then give that direction. Your child is more likely to follow through when your child feels that connection, when the relationship is stronger. And so the second thing that I wanted to emphasize is communication. It's the way we say it. You know that saying, it's not what you say, but how you say it. It's true. It's true. So consider how you're saying, how you're giving that direction to your child. Think about your body language, your facial expressions, your tone of voice, and consider the difference it will make when it's said with kindness. Firmness is also necessary, but don't forget the kindness. There are far more strategies, there are far more ways of increasing the likelihood that your child is going to follow through with the direction. And I'm not going to say 100% of the time, because I don't follow directions 100% of the time, but increase the likelihood that your child is going to do what you ask. I'm not going to go into all of them today. I do have a free resource that you can get on my website, parentingwithclarity.com. I talk about 5 simple ways to get your child to listen. Feel free to go there and get your copy. I'd love you to ask any questions that you have, any ahas from this video, and share them in the comments below. If you want to like, comment, share, and get this message out to more people, that would be fantastic. I hope you found this helpful. Until next time, have a great rest of the day. Take care. Bye-bye.